You aren't supposed to be able to feel the ocean. On a ship this size, the Atlantic isn't a force of nature. It's a backdrop. You're standing on the boat deck of the RMS Titanic. It's April 14th, 1912, 11:30 p.m. The air is so cold it feels sharp, like it's trying to cut your lungs, but the ship is a fortress of Edwardian luxury. You feel safe because everyone told you that you were, but in 10 minutes the world is going to end. Look around. The stars are terrifyingly bright because there's no moon and zero light pollution. The water is like glass. That's how the survivors described it. No waves, no white caps. This is the deadliest kind of sea because waves break against icebergs, giving them a glowing white fringe in the dark. Without waves, the ice is invisible. 11:40 p.m. You don't feel a crash. You feel a shudder. A slight vibration like a finger running along the teeth of a giant comb. In the first-class smoking room, men barely look up from their cards. But down in the orlop deck, 60 feet below you, the sound is a deafening roar of tearing steel. The ship has stopped. That's your first hint of dread. On the Titanic, silence is a symptom of death. Captain Smith and Thomas Andrews, the builder, are in the chart room. Andrews knows the math. The Titanic was designed to stay afloat with 4 compartments flooded. The iceberg's mountain range underwater profile has jagged open 5. As the water rushes in at a rate of 7 tons per second, the bow begins to dip. This isn't just sinking. It's a calculated mathematical certainty. Buoyancy is failing. The weight of the water is pulling the nose down, and because the bulkheads don't reach the ceiling, the water will simply spill over the top of one into the next, like an ice cube tray tilted under a faucet. Andrews tells the captain, "She has an hour and a half, maybe 2. It is 12:05 a.m. You see the crew uncovering the lifeboats. There are 2,308 people on board. There are seats for 178. Do the math. Over 1,000 people are already dead. They just haven't stopped breathing yet." You head below decks. The luxury disappears. Down in G deck, it's a maze. The unshakable ship is now a trap. There is no public address system, no sirens. Just stewards knocking on doors telling people to put on life belts. You see the gates. Contrary to the movies, they weren't all locked to drown the poor, but they were locked to comply with U.S. immigration laws. In the confusion, many stay locked. You see families standing with their suitcases, waiting for instructions that will never come. The water here isn't a flood yet. It's a creeping dark tide coming up through the floorboards. It's 31 degrees Fahrenheit. If it touches your skin, it feels like fire. Back on the boat deck, it's surreal. The band is playing. Why? To prevent a panic. It works too well. People refuse to get into the lifeboats. Why leave a warm, brightly lit, unsinkable ship for a tiny wooden boat in the middle of a pitch-black ocean? You watch a crewman fire a white distress rocket. It streaks into the sky and bursts. Boom! Silence. You look at the horizon. You see a light. It's the Californian, a ship just 10 miles away. You think you're saved, but they don't respond. They think you're firing celebration fireworks. You are screaming for help with light, and the world is just watching the show? The denial is gone. The bow is gone. The water is now licking at the name Titanic on the side. The slant of the deck is now 10 degrees. Walking becomes a struggle. Think about the men you don't see. The engineers and electricians are staying at their posts. They are chest deep in water, keeping the dynamos running. Because if the lights go out, the panic will turn into a massacre. They know they will die. Every second of light you have is paid for by their lives. Collapsible B is overturned. Boat 15 is nearly lowered on top of Boat 13. The women and children first rule is being enforced with revolvers now. You see husbands kissing wives goodbye, promising they'll catch the next ship. They both know it's a lie. You are standing on the stern. The ship is now a vertical tower. The stars are behind the funnels. Then, the sound. It's not a snap, it's a roar. The ship breaks in two between the third and fourth funnels. The stern, filled with air, settles back for a moment. You think, maybe it will stay afloat. Then the weight of the water-filled bow pulls the stern upright again. It stands vertical, a 40,000-ton tombstone pointing at the sky. It slides under. No whirlpool, just a gulp. This is the part the movies can't capture. The great silence that followed the sinking wasn't silent. It was the sound of 1,500 people in the water. From a distance, survivors said it sounded like a hum or a football stadium in the distance. Up close, it was a chorus of agony that lasted exactly 15 minutes. The water temperature is 28 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 degrees Celsius. The salt keeps it from freezing solid. When you hit it, the cold shock response makes you gasp uncontrollably. If your head goes under, you drown instantly. If not, your body begins to shunt blood away from your limbs to save your heart. Your fingers turn into useless wooden blocks. You are in Lifeboat 6. There are 28 people in a boat that holds 65. You hear the screams. Do you go back? If you go back, the drowning will swarm the boat and flip it. If you stay, you listen to them die. Most boats stayed. By 2:30 a.m., the screaming stops. The silence is now real. You sit in the dark, surrounded by a field of white lifebelts bobbing like ghosts. You are alive, but the version of the world that believed technology could conquer nature is dead. The Titanic didn't just sink a ship, it sank an era. It taught us that unsinkable is a dare the ocean always wins. You're sitting on the Carpathia now, wrapped in a rough wool blanket, watching the sun rise over the ice fields. You've lost everything, but you have the one thing 1,500 others don't. You have tomorrow. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.